So, guys, welcome back to another episode of Geekdom Initiative. As always, I have my friend Dave here. I am filling in for the head geek, Ben. Dave, how we doing tonight, sir?
I am doing fantastic. What a fantastic episode of
This is a
Lost to talk
crazy
about.
one. This is a crazy
and,
one.
and I'm just always happy to. I'm getting choked up just talking about it already.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I'm good.
You're good. Let's roll that.
Not while I'm choking and like coughing and looking like an idiot on camera. After I'm better, that's when we roll the intro.
That's it. That was it. It was perfect timing. I have the timing of a sloth, sir.
Man, where do we even? Sorry, go
Do no harm. No, I was gonna say, so do no harm.
You did some harm to my my appearance there, but yeah, this is I think the first episode. We've had a lot of really good episodes recently, but this is like the first episode in a while where after you're done, you're just sitting back and like, whoo, man,
Dude, it's intense.
Yeah, this is a lot, and so much is happening in this episode, and it's the opposite of so many episodes that we have where they span days and days and or hours or whatever. This probably takes place over the course of like 3 hours tops.
Yeah, well, yeah, because you would think.
Yeah, I was
gonna. The only reason I would say maybe only because there is the point where he passes out and then kind of comes back, so we don't know exactly how long he's out for. But it's still got to be like you said, within let's say 3 to 5 hours or something.
Yeah,
like it's quick still. Yeah,
it is not a long time.
Right.
And the birth of Aaron and the death of Boone in this episode, just such a crazy thing where you just finish the episode and you're like, so much happened today. But and this is one of those episodes that really showcases the strength of the ensemble cast. There is, with the exception of like Walt, who I don't think has a line in this episode.
I don't think so. Yeah.
And Locke, who is not in the episode, but his presence is felt throughout the entire episode.
Sure.
Everyone here is firing on all cylinders, showing not only what makes them important to this group, but also just acting the hell out of every scene.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, when one of the craziest scenes for me is the leg when Sun comes back and realizes what they're gonna do. That whole scene, man, it's just like she's like, "What is wrong with you?" And he's like, "I gotta do it. I gotta do it. I gotta do it." But yeah, I mean, it's intense, dude. It's so intense because it's one of those episodes. It's the first, because Jack is at it. He's like, "You're not gonna die." We get that whole "you're not gonna die" thing with Jack, and at this point, you trust Jack. I mean, you're like, yeah, okay, like you've saved a few people. I mean, he didn't save the marshal, but
that was Sawyer's fault.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot more to that. But every time he's set to do something or save somebody on the island so far, or at least try to help somebody, he has. So you think, all right, he might have a chance of pulling this out, even though this is a crazy injury.
It's also one of those things that, whether you're watching it live or you're watching it you're watching it like week to week, or you're watching it in a binge, it's one of those things where you're like, well, obviously he's gonna be fine. There's 5 more episodes of the season. Like, you don't kill someone now. That's just gonna suck all the. This is This is like way pre Ned Stark getting decapitated in episode 9.
Yeah.
Deaths like this, they only happen in mid-season finales and finales on TV. So the fact that Boone goes out in this episode, incredibly shocking and really sets the tone for the rest of the series, where for the most part deaths happen off finales and finales with the exception of like Charlie and stuff.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, it's just so crazy because the whole time I'm just thinking, like, there's no way he can save this dude on this island with the amount of resources he has. I would think he would be prioritizing Claire at that point.
Well, I used to think that.
Okay.
But I think the more I've learned about pregnancy and the birthing process, if you will, it can, for all anybody knows, Claire could be having like Braxton Hicks contractions, which are false contractions that can happen, like, and the baby doesn't come for another 5 weeks. Yep. Claire could have the baby in 5 minutes or 48 hours from now. Like, Boone is bleeding out and dying here and now.
Sure.
There is a chance that, like, I think in Jack's head, even when he sends Charlie to Claire and says, hey, you're going to have to tell Kate she's going to deliver the baby, I think at that point he's like, yeah, but I'll save Boone and then I'll go help Claire.
Yeah.
I think also, like, Jack is a doctor, and we saw he would have to euthanize Boone, I think, in order to, like, walk away from Boone in that moment. And we saw how much of a toll that was on him when he had to do that with the marshal.
Absolutely, yeah.
And going back to, like, the beginning of the episode with Jack, I love from jump Boone's body gets dropped off, and he is immediately yelling and telling people what to do. He's like, son, he's like, Kate, come here. Hurley, come here. Kate starts freaking out. He's like, all right, Kate, get out. Son, you're in. Nurse Son, putting up in this episode. She's great in she gives all the right advice. He's yelling at Hurley, don't you pass out on me. After
yes, I like that scene. Yeah.
After he failed to do that with the marshal, the little character development, just like that, immediately it brings me back to some moments where in Pixar movies and stuff, they always talk about how the first scene of their movie, they want to show their protagonists being the best in their field, being the best possible versions of themselves. And on the island, Jack is kind of back in the OR in this situation. And, like, this is what Jack does best.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. I mean, it doesn't feel like he's out of place at all. Yeah, he just is like, all right, you go do this, you do this, you do this, you stay here, you don't pass out on me.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, this is, would you say this is the most comfortable we've seen Jack as far as just like...
Well, it's hard to say that.
Well, yes. Again, circumstances, understand, but he does. But in this episode, it does sort of feel like because even when he's given the blood, he's just kind of chilling. Like he's like, this is what has to be done. It sucks. I don't want to do this. I might not even be able to save him. He could go into anaphylactic shock or whatever they call it.
No, that's eating peanuts.
Okay, see,
it's septic shock.
Septic shock. Okay, yeah. But he's not really freaking out ever in this episode. I don't feel.
Maybe you're just way better at handling stressful situations than I am, because I look at Jack by the end of the episode, and he is just drenched in sweat, and I'm just like, through the entire time, I'm like, this is a man on the edge. This is like, he knows exactly what he needs to be doing.
Well, but I think it's stressful no matter what. So I mean, it's hard to avoid the stress totally.
Yeah.
But I mean, as comfortable as you can be. I mean, look, I worked in restaurants, man, and kitchens, and let me tell you, you're never like cool and calm. But there are moments where you're just kind of in the zone and you're just like, this is what I do. It sucks. I know I got to do it. I'm you know what I mean? So that's kind of how I feel about it in a way.
And let's just stick with the Boone Lost Does ER bit.
Yeah.
Where I love that when Jack is like, all right, here's what we need to do. We need to reset the leg, Hurley hold him down, and Sun comes up with this like piece of wood. And he's like, what is this, some herbal remedy? Because like Sun's done that in the past with the asthma medicine. She's like, no, you have to break his leg again. This is so he doesn't shatter all his teeth. It's like, oh yeah.
And well, I like that she doesn't even say it. She just puts it in his mouth. And he's just like, oh, okay, I got you. I got you.
And I love also that in that moment, Jack, you expect the setting of the leg to be like, all right, I'm going to do it in 3, 2, 1. He's just like, here you go.
Yeah. No.
And
he's not give any time at all. He just goes for it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Another great moment in the surgery, in one of the down moments in surgery, is when Jack's sitting there whittling what he thinks is going to be the needle, and he's like, I gotta hit a thing that's the size of a wet noodle, which Jack loves talking about things and comparing them to noodles, because he compared his own nerves to noodles in the first episode, I believe. He's in the story to Kate. In the story to Kate, he talks about like
when he opens up that girl,
and the nerves started falling out like angel hair pasta.
Okay.
Jack he just loves pasta. But I love when he's talking about like I gotta puncture the thing that's the size of a wet noodle, and I've got bamboo. And then Charlie runs up and is like, I got this blood type and this blood type. But people don't know their blood type, Jack. Which I would like to ask you. Do you know your blood type?
I do not.
You should learn your blood type.
I know. And actually, here's the thing. I do know my blood type. I just don't remember my blood type.
See,
I've been told it by my mother. So I mean, literally, I can call my mom and she'll tell me again. But it's been so long, I don't remember it right this moment. So no.
See, I was really happy in high school. They had outside the cafeteria one day, like learn your blood type tests, and then like the next week it was you could go donate blood if you were 17 or whatever. Okay. So I went and I found out, and I was really happy because I'm A positive, and I was like, first A+ I ever got in this school.
That's great.
Boone's A negative though, so I would not have been able to save his life. Sorry, Boone Carlisle.
You wouldn't have. You would have killed him.
I would have killed him. Jack also being universal donor. Of course he is. Of course Jack's a universal donor.
I have a little bit of an issue with that though. I have just a hair of an issue with that. Because if time is of the essence, wouldn't he just be like, and go find out, but I'm going to give him at least a little bit of blood for now until we can find somebody. It's later, once they realize that they don't have another donor, or at least don't think they have another donor, that he's like, oh, okay, now I'll finally do it. It's like, it's kind of a weird thing that he just is like, we'll wait.
I agree. It's very strange that he decides to
Especially
wait,
knowing that he's a universal donor. So it's weird. It's a weird
But thing. I would say, based on how we see him at the end of the episode, where he's going to guillotine his leg, and Jack just looks depleted as hell, and then the events of next week's episode, where is that when Kate drugs him and Shannon steals the gun? Yeah, that's next episode.
Is that next episode?
Yeah, that's next episode. Sure. Wow, Kate's going to drug people in back-to-back episodes, I just realized.
Kate's a murderer, man. Kate is an absolute murderer. There's no doubt about that.
Well, she's, one for one. She's killed one person. She's going to bring a person into this world. But I think because of like how depleted and how drained he gets after giving blood, especially in this way where it's not a controlled thing, like he's just putting his blood directly into Boone.
Yeah.
We will find like he looks exhausted, and if he had started to do it earlier, maybe he's not able to finish the surgery.
No, that's fair.
The operation.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Because it does take a lot out of you to give blood, especially that much at a time. So,
There's no reason they give you a cookie afterwards. Not too many, though. I remember I tried to get a third cookie, and they were like, no.
Is
That's
like
too
Harry
much
Potter?
sugar.
Is that like Harry Potter after you battle a Dementor, you got to eat chocolate? That's the
I've read the books and seen the movies. I'm always like, what's up with this chocolate?
Yeah, what is the chocolate going to do?
Does it give you your soul, pieces of your soul back?
It makes you feel like a kid again, man. You're just happy.
They are children, though.
I know. I don't know, man. I don't know. It's like, here, eat this. It'll feel better. It'll make you feel better. What? It's chocolate. What's it gonna do?
Talking about like the Boone's overall death and stuff here.
Yeah.
This is a big turning point, I think, in the entire series, where the end of the episode is Jack being like, Boone didn't die. He was murdered. And I'm going to go get John Locke. And it's interesting that in this very episode, Jack will utter John Locke's catchphrase to Sun, where he's like, don't tell me what I can't do. And it's like, oh. So they're kind of setting up that these two men are more like...
Yeah.
I believe it's when he's like, all right, Michael is here. He's going to build a guillotine to chop off Boone's leg. And it's all going to be okay. And Sun's like, you can't do that. You're an insane person, Jack. Just let him die.
Yeah.
He's like, don't tell me what I can't do. And then the episode ends with, I'm going to go kill John Locke because he killed Boone.
Yeah. Which I don't know. I don't know. My only issue with that is Boone is dying. So anything he says, I don't know how much you can take as real and not real. Obviously, we know he's telling the truth in that moment. But Jack has had to have seen this enough in a hospital where people are just, they say anything when they're out of it.
True. But I would counter that with Boone's having slight moments of lucidity.
Oh, sure.
And Locke just effed off.
Yeah.
Where is Locke?
Oh, it looks bad. Don't get me wrong. And like I said, from all accounts, I understand why he does what he does.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying, you would think there would be a little bit of like, well, maybe this is just him losing it. I don't know. I guess killing Locke right off the bat is sort of a weird. Not more like find Locke and let's question him. Like, get me Saeed, get me Locke, and I'll get the truth.
Well, Saeed's busy at the bang tent.
I know, but I'm just saying, like Jack can pull some strings, I think. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
It's just a weird jump to immediately like, I'm gonna kill this dude. I have no idea, but I'm gonna kill him.
Well, weirdly, I think it's perfectly set up at in his flashbacks when he's talking to his dad about commitment. Sure. He's like, you don't have a problem with commitment. You have a problem with letting go. Weird advice to give to your son right before he gets married.
Yeah. Weird time to show up too as the dad, but we'll skip that. But okay.
But also on that, where's Margot Shepard? Where's his mom? Did she not come to the wedding?
That's fair. No, that's completely fair. Absolutely.
But I think that's why Jack jumps to that extreme so quickly. Sure. Is not only does he have a problem with letting go, and he's just failed at, like you said, this is the first time Jack's really outwardly failed. But to his, even, I don't think if Jack had all the right information, if he could have saved Boone. I think Boone was dead from last episode. But in Jack's head, he's like, oh, I've been treating this wrong, and everything we did for the first 2 hours, me donating blood, me breaking your leg, actually made everything way worse. I could have saved your life if I had all the correct information. So now he's double pissed. He's depleted. This goes through the night, actually, because like Boone gets dropped off in the daytime, dies at nighttime. And the episode ends in the daytime.
Yeah.
So this goes all night. So Jack hasn't slept in 24 hours at this point. He's just donated probably like at least a quart of his blood. And he's pissed off.
No, that is fair. That's very fair. Like I said, it's just, again, but again, living on this island, the stresses that you're under, yeah, I mean, things are different. Things are definitely different.
Yeah.
So I understand that for sure. Like I said, it's just sometimes it's just weird. It's like, would they really make that specific decision at that moment? But then, like you said, he does feel like he could have saved them if he would have had all the information from Locke.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I just don't feel like Locke murdered him.
It's a fine line, honestly.
Yeah. He got him killed. He definitely got him killed. Yeah. But he didn't. It wasn't intention. It wasn't like, oh, go up in the plane because it's going to fall and kill you. Like, he didn't think that was going to happen, but there was a chance.
And if anything, Locke was yelling, and I didn't bring this up last week. He was like, get out of there, Boone. And that I always think he sounds like Falco from Star Fox when he says that. It's like, get out of there, Fox.
No, you're right. No,
but he always sounds like that. Boom, get out of there. Like, Locke was trying to save his life.
Sure.
Now, running.
He doesn't make his case any better.
Dumping the body at the ER and driving away. That's the move that a criminal makes, Locke.
Absolutely. You can't deny that stuff.
And, jumping ahead to next week, he's going to show up to Boone's funeral wearing the bloody t-shirt. He's not even going to get changed.
Yes, he is. Which is hilarious.
I don't know if hilarious is the right word.
Well, no, it's not. But this is why I love and hate Locke, though, so much. Because there are things that he does where I'm just like, holy shit. And then there are other things where I'm like, yeah, you're just a bad person, man.
It's like, what a bad... We'll talk about it next week. But maybe Locke is going to make a lot of bad decisions. Maybe the worst decision of his life is going to be when he goes to Shannon and is like, your brother died a hero. It's like, dude, you're wearing my brother's blood right now.
Yeah.
I know we got a whole nother storyline to talk about, but do you want... we've talked about it a little bit leading up to this. Do you want to hear some behind the scenes as to why Boone died?
I think you've told me some things before, but yeah, go ahead. No, absolutely. Yeah.
So first off, Ian Somerhalder, actor who plays him, says, and I quote, "I was killed off because I'm a terrible actor."
Oh my God.
Obviously a joke. Well, he is one of the most game people though to come back. And he loves it. He goes to every Lost convention. He's always down to talk about Boone. Even though his success really comes much later in Vampire Diaries. A show I've never seen, but I've seen all over TikTok.
Yeah,
and I'm like, oh, look, that's Boone. He's a vampire.
That's right.
Yeah. Anyway, he says, it's because I was a bad actor. Others have said that it was because Ian Somerhalder just bought a house in Hawaii, and karma, don't do that. Secure the bag first. Even though he will get paid for the rest of the season because he's a series regular.
That's fair.
So
he
deserves it. Yeah. All he's got to do next week is lie there for a little bit.
Look, but being homeless in Hawaii has got to be better than being homeless anywhere else. So hey.
Yeah. But Damon Lindelof, during season 3, Damon Lindelof was doing some interviews, and he talked about the flashback structure. And this was around the time that they were really complaining about, we hate that we're still doing flashbacks. Why did we send Jack to Thailand? What a terrible decision we made. But the flashback structure is a big component of why Boone dies off, because they thought, okay, we have Matthew Fox, Terry O'Quinn, even though we joked about his wig last week, but these actors in their 30s and 50s and stuff, that they can play in their 20s and in their 30s and in their 40s. We have a wide swatch of characters to play. I think we'll even see Kate playing an 18-year-old version of herself at one point.
Let's say the one flashback, they're young, yeah.
So. But the problem was they were like, okay, so we have what? Boone and Shannon are supposed to be 21, 24, I think are their ages. Yeah. So they have what? 2-3 years that they can play with in terms of flashback material. And then what we have, the exact quote was, and then what? We have Maggie Grace and Ian Somerhalder playing 14-year-old versions of themselves going to high school. That's just not an interesting story.
No, it wouldn't be, yeah. I can understand that.
So a big proprietor of the killing off of this character was just the structure of the show. The fact that they have committed to these flashbacks being a part of every episode is like, well, either Boone and Shannon are going to get demoted as characters to glorified extras, or
we kill them.
Or we kill them off.
Kill them all.
Like, God.
To kill people, so that doesn't surprise me.
Yeah. Carlton Cuse also said that it was to further the divide between Locke and Jack, and to really set them up as antagonists going into season 2.
No, it makes sense. And I get that point. That point at least, because what can you really do with flashbacks with them?
Yeah. I don't want to see high school Boone.
No. I don't know what you really need to show from their past, though, either. I mean, do they really need... I mean, I guess they need flashbacks because everybody else gets them, but...
Well, I actually think the Shannon flashback in Abandoned, which I've always thought should come next week, but it doesn't. It comes in season 2. I really like that, seeing her grow up after her dad dies and having to deal with that.
Oh, sure.
Her father, who died because Jack chose the cute blonde lady to operate on instead of Shannon's dad. Mm-hmm. Jack has been there and partially responsible for all the male deaths in Shannon's life. Her brother and her dad.
Right. Yeah.
Kind of dead by Jack's hand.
Wow. And Jack just wanted to get some. That's why her dad died. I'll say it. I'm not scared.
You'll say, well, let's talk about, we have Claire and the baby to talk about. Let's talk about the mom from Modern Family, Julie Bowen marrying Jack in this episode. Jack was married.
Yes, Jack was married. Which I don't know how happy, even when she's giving that speech about how he's a great guy and he saved her life and all that, he does not look happy to be there at all. This whole entire time, he does not look happy to be there.
No, and I think it's part of what Christian says about he did just commit because he saved her life and she was there, and he loves fixing things, and what a great example of a thing he fixed.
Yeah. Than
this woman. And also, I don't buy that he didn't write his vows. Like I didn't fix you, you fixed me. That's not something you improv on the spot. Jack was up all night trying to find the closer.
Yeah, of course. It's weird. It's a weird... I think this flashback is one of the weirdest ones for me because as I understand the reason for all of it, I don't know how much I like it, because he just seems so... The only time we get a little bit of humanity out of him, in my opinion, is when he's talking about hitting on other girls in front of his soon-to-be wife. He's like, are they at least cute? Like, dude, you don't say that.
I loved that, because Sarah gives it right back to him, where it's like, one of them's cute, but the other one, trashy.
Yeah. I don't know. It's very weird. He just seems very, not involved and not wanting to be there.
And I think that it's how it starts out, and the first moment we see is the flashback where we think it's his friend's wedding, but it's actually his.
Yeah, I did like that, but I remembered though pretty quick. I was like, no, it's he's getting married here. I'm pretty sure. But no, I do like that little quick scene with them. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. The bully from A Christmas Story.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Wow. The main one though, not the little one.
No, it's not the redhead one. It's the other one.
Okay. Okay. Gotcha.
It's not the one with the coonskin hat. It's the other one.
Gotcha. Yeah.
But yeah, his name is, I forget what his name is, but it's also the kid that Jack goes in and tells his dad. It's like, oh, they were beating him up, and Jack's like, and Christian's like, well, you should have just let him get beat up. You just don't have it, Jack. It's that guy. It's the kid who was getting beat up is now his best man.
Okay.
So a little connection there. And I actually really do like this whole flashback. Both from a, wow, I didn't expect that Jack was married, because what? That should have come up.
Yeah.
But also that I think we get to see a softer side of Jack. On the island, you've talked about how Jack is both always winning. All he does is win on the island. Mm-hmm. And all he does is succeed. And because he's the leader, he has to be super confident. Mm-hmm. And we see him in White Rabbit when he's running after the ghost of Christian Shepherd not be so not aware, but not so confident in his own abilities.
Yeah.
But since then, and that was like what, episode 4 or 5, something way back then.
That's early, yeah.
And then this is episode 22 or 20.
No, this is episode 20. Yeah,
episode 20.
Yep.
So it's been double-digit episodes since we've seen vulnerability from Jack, really. Mm-hmm. And I think that it's really important that we get to see this side of him.
That's cool.
Interesting thing about the flashbacks also, this hotel in Hawaii, it was the hotel that the cast and crew would stay at.
That makes total sense.
Also, the one episode of Modern Family I've seen, the Modern Family goes to this hotel, and the dad from Modern Family and Sarah from Lost redo their vows, and it's the same priest.
No way. Is that
true? Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. That's cool, though. That's pretty cool.
I have to imagine that's a coincidence.
Yeah, it has to be.
It's insane. And it just furthers my thing that I'm like, this is why I don't call anyone by their character's name and other things. I'm just like, that's so-and-so from Lost. And why I can never watch Modern Family. Because I'll be like...
everything's connected now.
Yeah. But yeah, that's a lot of fun. Another tiny small detail about this. Sarah is wearing a tracksuit with the number 44 on it. After Boone dies, there are only 44 remaining members of Flight A-15.
No way.
Yeah. There's other subtle things in the background in the flashback where there's like a dead flower surrounded by a bunch of ones that are alive, and like I think there's like a painting of a god of death in the lobby and stuff. And if I remember correctly, the alcohol bottle that Jack is drinking when Christian finds him in the sand is like a different language, death. So like there's a bunch of like things that are like signaling to you, hey, Boone's gonna die in this episode.
Yeah. I want to talk about that scene with him and Jack actually for a minute, because he's not the best dad. He's really not the best dad. He's trying. This scene, I will say that he is actually trying.
Yeah,
but he is still so bad at it. He is still it's just the way and the things that he says. You're just like, no, dude, that's not what you say to your son that's about to get married. Like, I don't know. The speech, or not the speech, but the advice he's trying to give him, it just is off to me.
Yeah. I have the quote that Christian says here.
Okay, yeah.
Commitment is what makes you tick, Jack. The problem is you're just not good at letting go. What does that mean, Christian?
I don't know. And Jack is just like, you're right. Like, dude, no, wait a minute. I would be like, what are you talking about, dude? What are you actually talking about right now?
Yeah. And I would actually argue, I think the message is muddled. But I think this is one of the best episodes for Christian being a dad.
Okay.
I think first of all, he shows up. Where was Jack's mom? I didn't see Margot Shepherd anywhere.
That's true. That is definitely true. And I didn't think about that.
He showed up. He is there, and he goes. He meets his son. I've talked about the Lost webisodes that they did in between season 3 and 4. One of those is called The Watch, and it's part of this scene, but like they filmed it way later, so it feels weird. But it's something I always conflate in my head, where Christian gives Jack his grandfather's watch, and it's like, you can be a better man than I ever was, and you're better at being married than I was bad at being married, blah, 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 blah. Well, but you could be great. Great.
I got you.
And I kind of I wish that scene was in the actual episode, because I think it does improve this whole exchange between them.
Sure.
And also, like, he says all the right things. He reads what he thinks are Jack's vows. And he's like, these are very nice, Jack. And Jack's like, they're not mine. They're Sarah's. I stole them from her. He's like, oh boy.
Yeah. No, again, it's not that he's not trying to be a good dad in this scene. Again, like you said, it's just weird. Like, what are you talking about, man? Like, give me some real advice here. Like, I'm about to jump into the pool and not come up. So, give me some advice.
To be fair, I think Christian delivers all the only advice he can.
What he needs. Yeah, no, he does. But
I think it's also all he's capable of doing. Because, like, think about Christian is a man who just a couple years from this wedding will be fired because he performed surgery drunk. He has, at this point, he must already have a second family in Australia.
For sure.
I'm not sure how much older Jack is supposed to be than Claire, but Claire's at least alive at this point.
Yeah, I would think
so. So, like, this is a man who's not in the best emotional state and, is not the best father. But in this moment, he's trying his goddamn best.
Oh, he's trying. Yeah, there's no doubt about that.
Yeah. And I love that he just keeps putting the question back on Jack, where he's like, do you love her? Or Sarah's a beautiful woman, which will lead to Jack assaulting Christian in an AA meeting down the road.
Yeah, I do remember that.
But yeah, there's just something that I think he's doing his best.
Yeah, I know. And again, like I said, it's not that he's not trying, because he is trying. Except for once he gets to Australia, he stops trying. But I always feel like he's trying. He is just horrible. He is just horrible at being a dad. He really is. Yeah,
he is not great.
Like, even if you don't think your son in that moment can do it, or whatever you're thinking, a dad still is like, no, man, you got this. Come on, you guys love each other. You're gonna make this work. I know it's a little scary right now. He's just not that dad. He's not that type of dad at all.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, he's not. He's not that type of dad, and he never will be. To be fair,
no.
And honestly, I don't think he wants to be.
Again, he's always trying to be that type of dad. He doesn't have it in him. He just doesn't have it in him, man. Until he actually gives up, he does try. I mean, I think you would agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah, he tries. He's just a failure, and he can't do it.
And he's got an ego. He definitely has an ego.
Yeah. Oh wait, I think I forget what show it's in where someone says that the only reason someone becomes a doctor is if they have a God complex, and it's like, yeah, Christian Shepherd, emblematic of that.
For sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Anything else you want to say about the flashbacks before obviously gonna be a shorter episode today? We got a couple things we're pushing up against.
Yes.
Well, we got a big old birth.
Yeah, I mean, we could touch on that, I guess, real quick. But I mean, I don't really find anything in those scenes. Do you? Do you get anything out of those scenes with her and Kate?
I get so much out of these scenes.
Okay, and no, that's fair, because I feel like, and not that it's filler, not that it's not important or anything. I don't know. Go ahead. What do you give me a few things that you?
I think it's it's especially with the way we're looking at this show is we've seen the whole show. We got the whole breadth of this.
Yeah.
When Kate says the lines, "This is not just your baby, Claire. This is all of our babies."
Yeah.
It's like, more so to Kate, she's going to be Aaron's mother for 3 years. Or 4 years? How long are the Oceanic Six off the island? 5 years?
I would say that I don't know. But yeah, she is. I forgot about that. She does take Aaron, right?
She takes Aaron and raises him as her own. 5 years. I just looked it up. Yeah. So she's taking this. Charlie, and I think you get to the whole swath of Claire's character arc from way back before she got kidnapped, where she's talking about how in Raised by Another she didn't want the baby. The baby's gonna know that babies know that that stuff. She's holding her breath to try and not give birth. Claire, that's not going to work. No. Claire, that's what a ridiculous statement that is.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then like how the moment she sees her baby, she's letting it out. Oh, I have a baby. Just that leads to a lot of her decisions over season 2, I think, and will motivate her in season 6. The fact that Jin is there. Jin was right at the beginning. Jin has always been really protective of Claire, back to when Claire couldn't feel Eren and she was worried that something had happened, and Jin finally gets someone to eat his fish.
Yeah,
that's what kicks Eren back to life.
She grabs his hand, which is still one of the funniest moments to me when she grabs his hand and he's like,
no, please, no. But there's like, oh, I feel it. Because, and I don't know if the show has this all figured out yet, but this is a guy who believes that he'll never have children because his wife's infertile, even though it's him.
No, that's true. Yeah, right.
This is and there's been a lot of scenes where when Claire came back, Jin is talking to Sun and being like, "Oh, what about the baby?"
No, that's true. I tell you what, too. That scene with him and Sun is pretty intense. As quick as it is, where he's like, "I don't even want to talk to you." Like, I don't even. You can see it in his face. He's like, "I don't even want to talk to you."
Yeah, and it's not anger. I think it's a lot of shame, and we're gonna figure out that a lot more in not next week, but the week after. We're going to figure out a lot more about all of that. I think that's a great scene. And then finally, that little quartet there is Charlie. Charlie being there.
Yes.
And everything Charlie... I think this is probably the last purely good Charlie moment we're going to have for until midway through next season.
Sure. No, I
think he's about to make a lot of questionable decisions. Some may even say character assassination on the part of where you have to think, did Dominic Monaghan piss someone off on the writing staff?
That's fair.
And I know that didn't happen. They just, they were the biggest show in the world and they lost. We can talk about that in a few weeks.
He's stir crazy, man. He goes stir crazy. He goes full Jack Nicholson and Shining on this one.
Yeah.
But, we know that.
But Charlie, a lot of his, first of all, some of his great moments where he comes from the caves and delivers all the information. And he has a line to Jack where, what do you do with that dilating thing? And Jack's just like, he doesn't even address him because you don't do anything with the dilating thing. There is no dilating thing, Charlie.
I do think it would have been interesting, though, if there was some way to hold up Charlie and him not be there for the actual birth.
I love Charlie being there because I think this is going to lead to Charlie's scenes, Charlie's subplot in Exodus, where he's you need someone with a personal connection to the baby to be going to save the baby, and it can't be Claire because the writers don't know what to do with Claire.
Well, no, I'm just thinking maybe if he's not there, maybe that's a way that they can sort of explain where he goes from this point. You know what I mean? Like, I couldn't be there, so he's like, just regrets it and just, can't deal with the fact that he wasn't there.
I don't know. Maybe that's the way you go. I think it creates more issues than it does. And then finally in this scene, a great Sawyer has one scene in this whole episode where he's playing cards or working on the raft or whatever he's doing, and Kate comes and is like, "I need the alcohol," and he's like, no questions asked. He's just like, "All right, here you go, getting the alcohol." When Sawyer is called upon to do the right thing, he will do the right thing, which I think is great.
Oh yeah, he doesn't even question her either.
Doesn't question her.
Doesn't even question her. Yeah, I like
and
that.
Important thing to remember in season 5, if you're looking at the birth scene, if you just turn the camera a little bit to the right, there's Sawyer hanging out in the bushes watching all this go down.
Yeah, there is.
So I think this is a really important scene. There's also
that is fair in that sense. You know what? Now that you say that, because there is a lot of reference to this scene later that we get. So yeah, no, you're right. It is a bigger. I guess I just think in the moment for where we are. I guess for me, I guess. But yeah, going forward, this is a huge scene.
Definitely. I think this sets up a lot of important pairings and a lot of motivators going forward.
Sure, yeah.
It really does set up a lot of that, and I think the fact that the Aaron birth and the Boone death happened in the same episode. Aaron's birth almost gets way overshadowed by the melodrama of what's going on at the caves. But I think it's an amazing scene. I love
the symbolism of it, though. Yeah. It works. It works really well.
Interesting thing also about Boone and Aaron, even though he's not named Aaron, a lot of people believe that Damon Lindelof always been on record as being a massive Yankees fan, and people believe that the reason they named him Aaron, and since was because he was born on the same episode that Boone died. It's a reference to Aaron Boone, the player manager from the New York Yankees.
I know. Yeah, I've heard the name for sure. Okay.
I'm Canadian. I don't know who that is, but sure.
I'm not a big baseball fan, but I know names. I know some names. So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Yeah. That I think this is a fantastic episode. I know we are cutting it very close. Yeah. One like musical motif I want to bring up to pay attention forward. There's a specific overture that plays while Boone is dying, and it's this really sad, lot of strings, harp, a lot of strings and violins and stuff like that are playing as he fades in. And there's one that music is only played when Boone dies. And there is a small harp plucking, that is meant to symbolize his heartbeat. And when he dies, it goes away. And then when we see his ghost next season in John Locke's Sweat Lodge, actually, I think that's in season 3. That's not in season 2 because that's after the hatch blows up. Whenever we see John Locke's ghost, or not John Locke's ghost, we'll see a lot of John Locke's ghost. But whenever we see Boone's ghost, that theme is back, but the harp notes are taken out because he's dead and he doesn't have a heartbeat anymore.
That is crazy, the attention to detail that they have.
Giacchino's the GOAT, man.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I agree. Him and John Williams, they got to be up there, right?
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah. John, it's tough.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, yeah.
John Williams didn't produce music for Lost, so I don't know.
That's fair.
But then again, Junkie DJ XL. I can't even finish the joke. I just like that name.
That is funny, man. That is. Oh, man. So, is that anything else that you had to bring up, man?
No, like, I
know we're cutting this episode short, guys. Very sorry for that. It's just time constraints and things are going on. But yeah.
Also, we've got Exodus coming up. That's going to be a long podcast, so shut up.
We'll have a lot to talk about at the end.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
For sure.
Any final thoughts on Boone as a character?
I like Boone. I think when he's in the show, I don't ever have like an issue with Boone or anything, but I don't think I miss him as much. He's one of the very few that I do kind of miss going forward. Like I don't need him in anything. I don't know how to say it because it's not that I don't like him or don't want him. Mm-hmm. If he was there, I'd be fine with it. I
agree with you. I think Boone as a character has served his purpose. I think Boone, the specter of Boone's death, I think is way more powerful and motivates way more of the action than Boone being alive ever could have.
Right. No, that's fair. That's fair. Absolutely. All right, guys. Well, that is going to do it for tonight. Thank you guys for joining us. Dave, where can we find you at, man?
You can find me on the Northern Entertainment YouTube channel every Tuesday talking about movie or not movies and TV, just TV shows on Have You Seen This over on, I'm going to run this all back. You can catch me every Tuesday on Have You Seen This on the Northern Entertainment Group YouTube channel, where we talk about all the latest and greatest in TV news, what's going on. We're talking Last of Us. We're gearing up to talk about Mandalorian. Me and Rob are going to be talking about Survivor when it comes back. So a lot of great stuff coming down the pipeline. Make sure you don't miss it.
Absolutely. Go ahead.
Yeah.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, and don't follow me on Twitter. I'm not even going to give it out this time.
Now, you guys can find me on Twitter at Jedi Master Tuck. You can find me in the Facebook groups, the Benverse and Multiverse of Geekdom. And you guys can find me here pretty much every day on the Multiverse of Geekdom. But that is our show, guys, and we will see you next time. And Dave, have a great evening, man.
Have a great evening to you.
Thank you, sir.